Hello. Hi guys. Bonjour, ça va? Ça va bien, merci? I'm just trying to share it on Facebook, but Facebook is a little bit buggy. Oh, I have to think of my logging details. I do not know my login details to Facebook. So anyway, guys, while I'm doing this, I should also multitask and talk to you about my upcoming events, like I always do at the beginning of every talk. If you would like to join me for an event, then my next event is in the south of Spain. I think it's about 1 month from today. Yeah, it's about 1 month from today, and it's in the most beautiful place in the south of Spain. Oh, it's buggy on this one as well. Yeah, sorry guys, I just do this one more go, and if I can't do it on here, then it doesn't get shared on Facebook. Copy a link. Okay. Facebook has a bug. Hopefully they will work it out soon. I need to put Lisa now instead of live now. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so the great thing about Spain and the south of Spain is that it's really beautiful. It's on a mountain cliff. No, mountain cliff, mountain edge. So it's like built up the mountain, then you look through all the valley to the ocean, and then all the buildings are sort of scattered up the edge. So you have to be good at walking. I mean, it's not that much walking, but you have to walk up and down all the time. It's either up or down. It's not really flat. yeah, it's super beautiful, and that gives like a really beautiful, spacious feeling. There's a swimming pool, a sauna, like a natural pool. They call them billabongs in Australia. And the thing that I love about this place, and that I really want to support about this place, is two things. Is firstly, they're an eco resort, so they're totally off grid, which I think is really amazing. And most things they use are locally sourced and recyclable. So off grid, if you don't know what that means, it means that they supply all their electricity, all their power, all their water. The only thing that I think they get from outside is obviously the internet, but everything else they supply themselves, and I think that's really, really beautiful experience. Then the other thing I like about them is that obviously every business needs to make profit or needs to be able to turn over money, otherwise it won't survive unless you get a big donor. But they're not really into that. That's not their focus, and it's the same with me. It's not my focus. I like money, I like spending money, I like receiving money, but it's not my primary focus. And so therefore it's like really affordable, and I really enjoy that, and I really find that an exciting way to share in Europe, because it's not easy to find affordable places in Europe. It really isn't easy. It's not even that easy anymore in Asia. It's all like these packaged holidays that like put up the price a lot for Westerners, because they know Westerners are wealthier. And this is really affordable, and I really appreciate that. So that's another reason why I really support them and encourage anyone that's thinking about it to look into coming. It's really fair price, and it's really beautiful. And I'm a really fantastic teacher. Am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to compliment myself? Obviously that's a joke. I think my best part as a teacher is my energy in which I speak from, and my integrity, and then, you know, my sense of humor also. The other parts could be likable, might not, depends on your taste. But those are the things in which I think I shine at as a speaker. And also I normally have other people helping me on the retreat, more and more recently, because it's like when you've got a group of 20 people, sometimes people need personal care and or more personal help than others, and some people need some personal work rather than more non-duality, so I have other people helping me with that. And then sometimes there's people that teach yoga. Often they always have yoga and or other activities and massage going on that you can participate in as well. It's a very interesting area. In the 80s, a lot of hippies went there, and they lived there for many years without buying the land, just camping and living off grid. And then eventually they bought the land, and the land around there is open for anyone to go and live. You can just pitch a tent and live there. It's a very interesting area. It's very alternative. And so far it's unfound by rich people. When rich people start going in, then everybody, the other people, the authentic people, begin to go out. The authentic, not that the rich people aren't authentic, but the people that created it as an off-grid or alternative living tend to move further out or to a different place. So that's my next event. Then after that, my event after that is in January 2019, where I do talks in India, and I will be in Tiruvannamalai, Goa, Arambol, Goa, and Rishikesh. I'll do 6 open talks in. It's quite a lot. So like 6 open talks in Tiruvannamalai, 7-day retreat in Tiruvannamalai, and then So in like 6 or 7 days talks in Goa, and then 6 or 7 days talks in Rishikesh. That's quite something. Shall I show you what I bought my mother? So then you realise that I have a very weird relationship with my mother. It's so cute. It's so cute. Look at his little feet. And his little trousers. Look, and he's even got underwear on. Oh God. The little ears. One green ear, one beige ear. Oh my God! I did a boo 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 boo. But I think I might have to keep it for myself. It's so cute. Oh God, I just want to eat it. No, well, I don't. Well, we don't want to eat the bunny. Oh God, look at those little feet. I do kind of want to eat it as well. Yeah, we send each other cute toys in the post. So it's because as a present, it's not very expensive to send. That's the reason why. If I were to send anything else, it would cost a lot of money. But and also because we like that. Often Khaleesi, the one she sends me, Khaleesi eventually eats it. So I don't actually have that many of them. Khaleesi eventually finds her way to it. A little bit embarrassing to share that pastime with you, but you gotta be authentic. I like the cuddly toy. 38 and I like the cuddly toy. Oh God, that's super embarrassing. It's like an addiction, isn't it? Like, hello, my name is Lisa Cairns. I'm a teacher of non-duality and I like buying cuddly toys. For my mother. That sounds even weirder, doesn't it? Well, this is actually quite a weird phenomena. I'm sitting here talking to a computer. This is also quite a weird thing. It's like every week, twice a week, I've got this set up times. I'll sit here and I talk to the computer. And we act as if it's really normal. Or I act as if it's really normal just to sit here talking to myself. And then I have some sort of questions that come through the computer or on Skype, and then I answer them like it's really super normal. You can think of anything like that. Like you can get your mind screwed up over anything, like how weird things are. I mean, eating and going to the toilet is quite a weird thing. It's like a car putting in the petrol. It's fantastic. I love the activity of it. I love thinking about food. I love thinking about what I'm going to eat. I love preparing it. I love eating. I love making my drinks. But then it comes out the other end. Like we use up all the stuff that keeps us going, and then it comes out the other end, which is also a very pleasurable affair. But we're not allowed to talk about that. All of us do it, but we're not allowed to talk about it. Like everything is so abstract in a way. I remember when I was a teenager, and I used to find it particularly difficult to go to family dances. It was like, we always used to seem to have these family dances. It used to be like a once a month occurrence. It would be somebody's party and we'd have a disco. And it's like you'd go and all the same things would happen at every party. You know, the same similar conversations about the weather, moaning about this or that or your partner. And then the similar dance music, the Macarena would come on and everyone suddenly like boop boop doop boop doop boop doop boop, and we all act as if it's the most normal thing and the lights are flashing and we're all like, yeah, this is really normal. Screw the fact that we're floating in a ball in the middle of infinite space and we don't know why we're alive, but we're like doing the Macarena. It's fine. It used to like trip me out as a teenager. And everyone else found it so normal. If I tried to say anything, then they'd get annoyed with me, so I wouldn't say anything. Best not to say things to anyone about the weirdness of life. Just how bizarre it is. And then we follow all these rules, like that evolution exists and that we're human and we've got all these rules in being human. And it's so brilliant, this subject, because in a way what it is it's not a human that wakes up, but it's like all the illusions of the mind stop being super important and they relax and then something else is seen. So it's like everything that you took as important, as you took as real, as you took as meaning something, suddenly doesn't have that importance or that grip and doesn't seem as real as it did. And then it's seen that you're not experiencing life. Life is being experienced by something else. Like even you is a weird phenomena or a weird idea. The idea of you. Like that we were taught this language. We were taught the concept of you. We were taught the concept of me, and we are friends, we're not friends, we're in a relationship forever, we're not in a relationship forever. All these constructs we were taught. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the functioning of a human. But then we take it to be the reality of this world. Like I am somebody looking at this world. But imagine if you weren't taught that. Imagine if you grew up in the jungle and you never saw another human. Would you be a you that's looking at the world? And who would this you be? Who would we be? We'd be doing the Macarena, whatever it's called, Macarena, in the jungle by ourselves with the wolves that had become our family. I didn't pinch that story from anywhere, did I? I'm writing a fantasy book at the moment. I always have to be writing something, and originally what I started in was playwriting. And then last year someone said, why don't you write a novel? And I was like, I can't write a novel. I write dialogue, I write scripts. I don't have good English. I can't even spell properly. I'm dyslexic. I can't write a novel. And then they were like, but why don't you open up to the possibility you could? Maybe it's just that stands in the way. So then I thought about this, and I thought what I like about writing a novel rather than a play or a script is that I don't need anyone else involved. With a script, other people have to produce it for you, and you might not have the same vision. So then I started thinking about it and was like, well, I can write dialogue. So why don't I write the whole novel as if it's different characters in a play speaking? So that's what I did. That's what I'd done. And I would say, I'm over halfway through it. The first book is most probably, I don't know if it'll end at the first book, but the first story, the first big story. And it's all told from the perspective of animals. I've got like 2 or 3 main animals. It's super cool. I love it. So I have a wolf dog as main character that is similar to Khaleesi. And I have a very fat cat, orange cat. It's similar to this one. I will show you. Oh no, I'm actually going to get barred from YouTube if I try to show you. Oh, I know, I can show you through the phone. Like this cat. Okay. Like that cat. And of course, it's all about non-duality, just in fantasy format. It's very exciting. It's really, really abstract. There's lots of very abstract things that happen. There's something very exciting happening at the moment that I can't tell you about because it will ruin it for you if you ever want to read it. I really want to tell you. It's about eating, but that's as... Okay, we've got to change the subject because otherwise I'm going to say it. Oh, I got that all out of sync, that little dance. So who is it now that looks at me? Who? My friend used to go to me, who is the finger pointing at? And I was like, me, you moron. I used to think inside of my head, I didn't say it out loud. I'd be like, me, it's pointing at me. Jesus. I couldn't understand what he meant, but it is very profound. Who is the finger pointing at? There is nobody inside your body. It's a mental construct that makes it feel that way. But there is nobody hearing my words. There is nobody moving the arm. There is nobody appearing to choose. There is nobody wiggling their shoulders. There is nobody choosing anything. It's happening. Life is happening for no reason that you could possibly imagine, because anything you possibly imagine fits into only your limited mental constructs. Although I did name the talk today that the only possible motivation, purpose of this life is love, which I also agree with and stand by, that the only possible motivation is love. I mean, what else could it be? But not love like you're imagining it, and everyone will imagine it differently because everyone will have different chemicals associated with love. And I mean a love that doesn't contain a chemical. A chemical is something that's seen and experienced in this world. I mean a love that's much greater and bigger than that. And maybe you could say it has a feeling or a taste of what we know in the human world as love, but it's way beyond that. It's this still presence that's experiencing itself. And we all know it, it's just we get it confused with forms. And we get it confused with forms because the forms bring us pleasure, and when we get pleasure, we stop seeking for another moment than what's actually happening. And when we stop seeking for another moment, then there's a remembering of the love that we are right here, right now, where everything's coming from. The seeking always makes you feel like there's something missing, so you keep moving to the future. And then you taste pleasure and suddenly you're not seeking for the next moment. So when you meet the perfect stranger and you decide that you want to kiss them on their lips and rip all their clothes off, in that moment you don't want to be anywhere else. You're totally in that moment, and in the moment of touching their lips or their skin or looking in their eyes, there is just total intimacy with what's happening. And in that intimacy, it's remembered who you are, but not by anyone. So later you don't remember it. It's just this immense feeling of love. Later your mind says, I love them. Then you begin to hate each other because you put it into forms, into opposite, and with love comes hate. There are crows in my tree. I like crows. The animals come here because Khaleesi eats lots of bones. I like the animals coming here. Khaleesi, though, is happily guarding the garden at the moment, making sure they don't actually land. Get any of her bones. Nope, she's not here. Which is all abstract. You eat an animal. We're so removed from our environment that most people can't even admit that they eat animal. They're like, I eat a beef. I eat a beef. A beef's not an animal. I eat pork. Pork's not an animal. Oh, pig is it? Beef. I'm not eating the flesh of a cow. I'm not criticising for that, although I have to say I'm a vegetarian. Want to be vegan, and I do struggle with the cheese, especially when it's on top of pizza or Haagen-Dazs ice cream or Ben & Jerry's ice cream, but we attempt. My motivation is that I want to be a vegan. If you try, most of the time we are, but then a tenth of the time we're not. Cheese. But anyway, just as I was saying that you do eat a cow. You know, beef is actually a cow. It's actually the flesh of an animal which bleeds and feels pain and has babies, has sex, poops, enjoys their food. Most people do actually eat that, but they can't associate it in their brain because they just buy it in this plastic thing, and in their brain it's like, yeah, it's beef and it comes from a plastic thing and out of a shopping bag. And I don't really disagree with it, actually. I disagree with the factory farming. I think it's quite natural that we eat animals. That's just what we do. Maybe I think if we don't have to, then maybe we would become a nicer species if we didn't. I think eating meat brings out a very predator side. But, you know, I don't know really. I'm not sure. I don't know anything. I don't know anything really. But anyway, back to the subject. You eat an animal in which when it was killed, blood came out of it, and it was once alive, but you don't know what was alive. What is it that was alive inside that cow? You know, maybe you don't even want to think about this. You're like, oh, Lisa, please stop. I'm going to turn it off. This is a terrible subject. But just think about the weirdness of this life, how weird this dream is, that we, in order for our bodies, our machines to go, we have to take the blood out of another animal or electrocute it or kill it in some way and then eat its flesh. Or we can eat sausages that are made out of soya beans, which is also very abstract because they kind of grow out of thin air. You put the plant in the ground, it sucks. We did 100, 200 years ago, we might not even known how that grew. But now scientists tell us, but we're not really sure about it, but scientists tell us it's not magic. What that plant is doing, that grows as a soybean plant, is sucking out minerals and food from the ground and growing from that. But that's what we're told by scientists, and we're told if we put on the pH stuff and the N stuff, I've forgotten what it's called, the fertilizing stuff, the N and the pH, then it will grow quicker and more, and certain ones will make it flower more and have more peas. That's again abstract. I mean, yeah, we're told that we feed it and it grows from the ground, it's taking minerals from the ground, but it could also be magic. It could be really that it's just magic, it's just appearing out of thin air, looking like it's growing from something in the ground, but actually it's just forming from the air like magic. Or we could see that as magic even, that it has the ability to eat from the ground and grow like that. That is also abstract. And where is it that the plant ends and the ground ends and the ground begins? The same with us. Where is it that we end and the food ends? We put in this beef and now you're a cow. I'm a vegetable. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a vegetable. I'm not a pig. I'm not a cow. I'm not any other animal. I'm a vegetable with a little bit of dairy, sometimes some fish. So you're a... No, it goes out as poop. My body is human. But maybe that cow doesn't all go out as poop and then it's growing you. Like the plant comes from the earth, you come from the pig or the cow. Yeah, I think you'd be more intelligent to eat vegetables. I think that getting the brains of a cow or a pig is not something to aspire for. But the point is where do we end and where do we begin? What defines us? If we're growing from this cow or pig that we put inside of us and then we're growing like magic from that and then we're excreting the stuff that doesn't need to be used, if that is the case, then what are we? Who is this solid soul that you so adamantly claim to? This soul that's inside this body that's growing from all other things around us. And if we get a microscope and keep going into us, it's like fractals that go on infinitely. We can't find where we end. But we haven't got a microscope, so we can't really prove that one. But if you stop eating, you will disappear. I can tell you that. So you need the cow, the pig, the soya. But I'm a human, and I'm separate from everything else around me. I am independent and I am experiencing, but what is this thing experiencing? Because who you imagine yourself to be is an image of your body, and if your body is made up of all the things you eat, then who is this one that's experiencing life? When you imagine yourself inside the brain, I assure you, you imagine your current body, but that doesn't belong to you. It's something that's growing from everything else around you. So what is experiencing? Well, it's a soul inside. But what about thoughts? Thoughts are also like food growing the body. They're taught from you to you from the outside, so you can't be a thought either. It's just that we don't eat thoughts. It's that somebody says it to us, just like I'm saying to you, and then they sort of go in there and it's eaten by the brain. And some of them stick and some of them don't. So is a thought you? If you didn't have any humans that brought you up and you lived in the middle of the jungle, would you think? And if you didn't think and you weren't able to think about yourself, then who would you be then? Well, would you be everything because everything was what you experienced? If you didn't have the idea that I am something inside this, then you wouldn't have the energy that makes it feel like you're something inside of this. So you'd feel like everything that's in your experience. So as you ate the cow, although if you lived in a jungle, it's unlikely that a cow would just walk by. but you ate the lizard would be you. You'd be eating yourself. So when you killed it, you'd kill it with so much respect, because you'd be eating yourself. You wouldn't make it grow up where it can't turn around, where it can't run. You would treat it with infinite love and compassion, because that was you. And as you put it in, you'd be eating yourself, so it'd be absolute love. Boom 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 boom. Macarena. I think I got it right that time. Okay, we'll turn to questions now, because I seem to have lost anything to talk about. Hey guys! Hey guys! Hey Thomas! Hi Asbon! Hi Monica! Hi Zas! Hi Etya! Hi Chris! Hi Fabio! Hi Vadios! Hi Malfred! Hi Lisa! Normal weirdness is all the eye of the beholder, Lelo. Whoa, that's Garfield. Can't wait to read this novel. Super interesting having it told via animals. Yeah. It's really... One of them, I told you this, one of them's a wolf dog. Oh God, it's so cool. I get very excited writing it, although I can't write it for very long periods each day. I can only do a couple of hours. As a vegan, finally got rid of cheese. Dairy was definitely the hardest part. Also the social part in terms of differing in ways of eating from all friends and family. But I'm fine with it no matter. Yeah, my parents had to put up with it since I was 8. So I'm so used to being bullied, ridiculed. In fact, it doesn't really happen anymore. Everyone just knows it. I've been a vegan on and off since I was 8. But I can never really stick to the veganism. I sometimes can stick for it for years, and then it breaks again on the cheese. I aspire. Yeah. I think as a woman it's a lot easier. My dad used to get teased no end. And my brother's a veggie and he gets teased as well. I think as a woman it's way more acceptable. The hardest part is that I think that people that eat meat think you're judging them. Whereas I don't actually feel like that. Even when I say these words, I don't feel like I do judge people. I would love a world in which everyone's kind and fair to each other, but I'm also very realistic. And also, you know, it is my kind of world, as in like everything I see is my brain, so who am I really judging? Juna. Hi, Juna. A friend of mine used to work at a slaughterhouse. And when he told me, oh no, I don't want to know. I'm all right. Thanks, Juna. Could eat enlightened guru. He. Yeah. Well, Asborn, I think you might have had some telepathic waves happening there, because Something like that might happen in my novel. Remember I said it was about eating? Yeah, I'm so grotesque and abstract as well. But I have to struggle not to say anything. Okay. Hi, Monica. Hi, Lisa. This is Monica from Spain. Hi, Monica. A pleasure to meet you. Just recently discovered you, and I have to say that I love watching you. We have a similar sense of humor. I think it looks like we're the same age, maybe. I think that humor, like age-wise, it helps. Like so. Hi Lisa, the story of my life has always been to find my identity, the purpose in this life. I've gone through several identity crises that led me to the spiritual path. I've struggled most of my life in so many areas. Last year my father died and I went to India. This trip changed my life for good. Finally I was a happy person. It seemed to me I left behind so many blocks. It felt static. I found out that I wanted to become a yoga teacher. A few weeks ago, a new crisis hit my life. A Vita came to my life. All these concepts that I always heard felt completely true to me. This understanding about reality has left me with nothing to hang on to, and I get that. But our society forces you to work yeah. to earn some money in order to survive. Honestly, I don't have the energy for that. It feels so completely useless. Any suggestions? Yeah, I get slightly restless there because many jokes could arise from my mouth and I have to swallow them. Okay. Not about the nothing to hang on to and the crisis hitting your life, but about any suggestions of how to earn money. That was the part that was making me fidget. Do not say it, Lisa. Well, yeah, this is a current problem because you know what? Business and enlightenment don't go so well together. I think. I'm not totally sure, but I think I might have said the opposite in previous videos, but from different perspectives you can see things differently. And in one way, all you have to do is follow love. That's all you have to do. You don't have to worry about business or earning money. You just have to follow your love. But in terms of business, the way that our society is currently set up is set up from the personal perspective and from separation. So if you're coming from this place of love, it's hard to, it can be tricky to navigate through other people's intentions that doesn't contain any empathy. Like if you're open like a book and your heart is very vulnerable and loving and honest, humans in our society aren't currently ready for that. So what they will do is then they will take advantage of that person. If you really diligently follow love, it will work out. But there will be, but you're going to come across people that are coming from a taking position and not a giving position. So as you become more free, your actions are about giving, not about taking. Like your love. So like if you imagine an apple tree, we get lots of apple trees in the United Kingdom. This is why we like a beverage called cider. Every English person is very partial to that. So if you ever have an English person to dinner, you might provide wine, but I think you'll get a better response if you provide cider. All the English people are like, no! I like cider. Anyway, so if you imagine an apple tree, the tree gives the apples freely. It just gives. And then the birds eat the apples and then spread the seeds for the tree to carry on, I assume. Or other animals eat it. I assume that's how it works. And it gets nutrients from the ground, which come from the birds that poop from eating the apples, or the animals that die or poop are near the tree, and the leaves from the other trees. But its job, the apple tree, is to give those apples, and without giving the apples, it wouldn't get the nutrients back in order to survive. It's like a cycle. And this is how we're set up as well. All animals are set up like this. We give something to our environment. And it's from that giving that then we survive, which is the really most amazing point. But in our current society, I don't know really why this occurred, but I suspect it's because of this idea of separation that infected us, or arose in us, or penetrated us. Because of this idea, as humans, our society has got into this mentality of taking, and it's mine, taking my things. This is mine, whereas there is nothing that's yours. We are all visitors. There's nothing that's anybody's. But we've got into this mentality. So if you're having awakenings in this society, and you're changing in this society, then this society might not be so supportive to you. So in India, where Advaita came from, I don't know actually. It could have come from somewhere else. It could have come from aliens. Who knows? But anyway, Advaita was very popular in India. And what arose in India was monasteries, ashrams, and this idea of I forgot what their names are. They wear the orange. Like a wandering not Sadhguru. I've forgotten what their name is, but they're these holy men or women that walk the streets, and then society pays or gives them food. And it's like a blessing giving them food. And it's not an outcast thing. They're seen as valuable to society. I'm not saying that India's perfect. I'm not saying that that's the perfect system, but at least there is something there, whereas in our society it's not recognised at all. So what tends to happen if you have this overwhelming love or innocence or joy coming up, then other people want to take it from you. And that's what our society is like. That's not a complaint. I'm not meaning to complain or promote victimhood, because that's just a notice. I'm just noticing and recognizing a pattern that seems to form in society, and I'm trying to suggest with you different ways to work around it. In the United Kingdom, I used to be part of this Buddhist order, and they had work places where you could work there, and you got your food and accommodation. I thought this was a nice alternative. Food, accommodation, and it was like they had like businesses to help support the community, and it was very supportive of spiritual practice or investigation. And I thought this was a nice alternative, but they chucked me out because I wouldn't give up Advaita. But from what I've heard about them now, is they're a lot more open to Advaita or Nonduality. Or there's the Western Buddhist order, and they're called Taratna something. I've forgotten the name. Sounds like a dinosaur. the Tyrannosaurus. So there are things like that. I found after I had my big awakening, I wanted a really simple job. Like I wanted to work with dogs, or I wanted to work in a ticket office where you got to sit on a seat, not standing. Something like that, really simple. I ended up doing these non-duality talks. Not so simple. But it does create a very simple life for me. Like it is simple as in the sense that I just have to open my mouth, really. And let words come out. But I find the business side of doing non-duality talks a challenge. And that's part of life. Like when I do business with people, I have this natural flow in which I want to do business, and they don't seem to want to do business in the same way. Like I want to do it by feeling and by love and by what feels expansive and right, and they want to do it by money and profit and success. So anyway, that was all I had to say on that, Monica. The most important part of what I said is it's losing your mind and letting life spontaneously act from that love of what you are. Thank you, Monica. Nice to meet you on here. Hi, Zest. Lisa, do you like meditation? I do like meditation, yes. Hi, Edya. Bliss and warm smiles to your lovely self, Lisa. Oh, warm smiles and bliss to you. Thank you, Edya. Hi, Chris. It's the emoticon. I was copying the emoticon that he sent me. Hello, Lisa. Can you please talk about what happened after your awakening? How it felt for you, the time of your integration, how long the residue of separation continued to play itself out. Very often non-duality speakers don't say anything about that. It's because there's different types of non-duality teachers. Some non-duality teachers are only talking about the recognition of consciousness and not the energetic awakening. It's not that one's right or one's wrong or one's better or one's not. It's just that some people just only are talking about that recognition of consciousness, that recognition that consciousness is creating everything, doing everything, looking at everything, and is everything. And I also talk about this energetic shift where energetically it stops feeling like you have a center. Like so there's not a center looking at it. It's looking from the perspective of this body, but energetically your energy feels expansive and the body's sort of moving around in that. So so it feels like you are everything, not separate. Now, there might be other things other people talk about, but this is my experience with a lot of speakers, is there's these two different types of speakers. And then there's other types of speakers as well that talk about other things like walking through walls or telepathy, the everyday stuff. But that's what I talk about, and that to me was the real freedom. Like I'd had many experiences before that, and that was the real freedom. And then after that, since that happened in 2011, it had been happening for many years. There'd been brief moments of it, and then it closed again. And then this sort of big shift happened. And then after that, my personality, the personality of Lisa, has been integrating it. So that's like 8 years, 9 years of integration. And before that, there was much integration of the personality. I get sense that the integration of the personality goes on infinitely, like everything in this world. So you can expand on the human level to infinity and beyond. What that means is, I don't know what that means, but that's what I think of when I think about it. But then we're all just left here and this is all there is, and really we don't know anything about anything. She loves that, having a good bark at the neighbours. She enjoys that. What happens for me personally, for my character, is the old patterns still come up. So old, like, seeking patterns or energy of behaviours. And they're just part of it. And it seems like they relax and become more expansive through the years. Not like perfect, but they're still there. One second. And there is still a learning to trust this character and this character's thoughts about things. Like, I'm super sensitive to things, and I tend to I think maybe because of all the conditioning, the spiritual conditioning, I tend not to say things because I'm not sure if it's this character, this personality structure, or if it's to do with the other person. So there's that. But you know, that might be the sweetness of Lisa until this body passes, that she's very self-reflective and unlikely to be really adamant about anything. You know. So I don't know if that helps. Maybe you've got a bee in your bonnet of perfection, of wanting to arrive somewhere on the human level, and you're still not really seeing, or there's still this seeing that you've already arrived, the human won't arrive. Like, really, really clearly seeing the human will never arrive. And this is really humility. To me, it's arrogant saying that you on the human level have arrived, because there's nobody to arrive. There was this shift that I can remember in my story, and I really felt profound at the time, but now it's just every day. That's the way it is. And on the human level, you know, my motto, even though it's really not, I'm just saying that because it sounds okay. My motto is is always to attempt to expand, to grow myself. Like learn, expand, improve where I can. Well, not fighting and resisting destruction. So when things begin to go, that's the way it is. Zaba? Hello, Vatios. Hi, Elango. Hi, Malfred. Dear Lisa, I'm confused. What is true? Is it true that there is only the one and that the one is totally whole and unchanged, and that we see this manifestation of the one as fragmented due to the ego's perspective? It's not that the ego's perspective, it's the attachment to the ego's perspective. Your brain, Malfred's brain's always going to think. There's always going to be thoughts that arise. That's part of what these brains do. So we get into our mind at some point, we've got to stop thinking. But these bodies are always going to think. Like, in a way, our brain is always working and changing everything. Like they say that we see upside down and our brain changes it. Like, it's even our brain that informs us of the colour. Like, I mean, what is thought? Like, what is distance? Like, our brain forms all of that, and our brain is going to say this is nice or this is not nice. And enlightenment isn't like that thought level all disappearing. It's the attachment to that thought level. And when I say attachment, I mean this belief that that's you. That's not you. Who you are is this innocent, boundless beingness that's right here, this moment. And in that comes these thoughts and perspectives. And your character's got to act with those thoughts and those perspectives that are particular to Malfred. So Malfred is a doctor, so say if you see someone's injured, you have to respond in your pattern. So if you see someone that's injured, you'll respond from a doctor's perspective. But it's not thinking or not behaving or not following your pattern. It's not claiming that to be you. I don't tend to use the word ego because I came from the school of Ramesh side, and Ramesh used to say the ego in a positive way. He used to say everybody has an ego. You don't need to lose the ego. You would be dead if you didn't have an ego. And I think that he means that by character or personality structure. And I feel that what he's trying to point to is it's not getting rid of any of that. You've got to behave in your way. You can't wipe your brain clean. It's the detachment from that isn't you. So all these stories arise, but you're the stillness that's in the center of it. You're these perspectives arise, these judgments, these feelings arise, but you are the stillness in the center of everything, and all of that comes and goes in it. Is it so that actually nothing needs to be fixed by the humans? And that if we get out of the way, the one will lift the veil from the perception and we will see that all is already whole and perfect. It is, with love, Milfred. Yeah, that is the case. You don't actually need to fix yourself. However, I would advise aspiring to grow as a human. So that means not being so restricted by your conditioning or your perspectives. A stupid person believes he knows things. A wise person knows he knows nothing. So it's like taking that perspective, that you're always willing to grow your knowledge, your ideas, your ways of being. I forget if that's the right quote. Something like that. Ahola! Hi, Carmela. Do you feel self-inquiry was a big part of your shift? Trying again to hear your experience of it. No, I never did self-inquiry as such. I did self-inquiry when the teachers did it, when they were talking. But I didn't actually do it. What I did was I would listen to the energy of the speaker and I would vibrate in the presence of it. The I am. I was always more the I am person. Now I know that the self-inquiry people would say there's something beyond the I am, but that's not true. there is this consciousness and the I am, and they are presence, this empty looking and the I am, but one isn't prior to the other. There is nothing and there is everything, and everything is the I am, and consciousness is the nothing. And they're actually like bridges between the nothing and the everything. And the I am is the love, and the consciousness is the empty looking at everything. And the consciousness is in present. So when the teacher spoke, I was using them to be really, really present, not the personality structure, but to fall back into my presence beyond the personality structure, to remember who I truly was. So I used them like that. And not all teachers, there were a lot of teachers that didn't happen with. It's just with the teachers that it did happen with. I used them. And then, I listened. I looked at my personality structure. I balanced Lisa. Lisa was a little crazy. Quite sane as well, like very mature and sane in lots of ways, but also could be have very overwhelming emotions and had a temper. And a temper always sucks, because if you're a grumpy person, you can get away with it. You can just be grumpy in the corner, you can be silent. But if you've got a temper, you then affect people and you upset other people. Grumpy people upset other people, but not that much. People with a temper, they get told off. So I had to do work on the temper. And that, that is a huge, huge change in my personality structure. I used to have lots of tempers, not lots, but, a fair amount. I don't know what it is compared to other people. Whereas now I have very few tempers in comparison to what I had in the past. I can get annoyed. It always tends to be about boundaries when I get annoyed. But that really changed a lot. That was a big one. That changed in my personality structure. Thanks, Carmela. Hi, Monica. Thank you so much. It helped. With pleasure, Monica. Okay. Well, that's the end of the questions. I have talked a lot tonight, so maybe that's the end for tonight. Sorry if I just blew your ears with my microphone. See what's going on YouTube. Bonjour. There is no such thing as absolute truth. Everyone interprets things as per their own perspective. There is, but not on the human level. The human doesn't know the absolute truth. Prior to thinking, prior to emotion, prior to everything and everything, there is the absolute. It's in every experience. It's the closest thing there is to you. I detect arrogance in that you said, Mister. I know it's a Mister. Wazim, I don't know if that is a Mister, because Wazim doesn't exist. Wazim in English, I can just tell that energy is male. To infinity and beyond. Yes, I did. I also did the Macarena earlier. Macarena. But you most probably missed that. Wazim. Hi, Ziggy. Hi, Netty. Anybody, any questions? Why is it so difficult to stay with someone? I don't know what you mean, why is it so difficult to stay with someone? Humans can be, a difficult race. Everyone thinks they know better than everybody else. Even when they're 3 years old, they think they know better than their parents. It's a difficult race to be around. I think we do very good not killing each other. Yeah. Hi Lisa, what's your take on ET? I think that it's most probably going to happen soon, but I think ETs aren't what we've got to worry about. I think what we've got to worry about is artificial intelligence. I think that people are overlooking things a little with this whole climate change things. Are we aware of what we're doing with computers and how rapidly they're progressing, and how we're putting all our information into machinery? It's not going to be the climate change that wipes us out, it will be the computer. Will this video be available to watch later? I didn't play any music, so I presume so. Yep. I did sing the Macarena though, they might try and copyright that. Thank you, Lisa. I always appreciate your energy here and all you say. It's true, it does not matter much exactly what's being said, whether it's non-duality sin, it really helps. Non-duality or stillness, it really helps. Yeah, good. And what I used to do was vibrate with that person's energy. There might be, though, my personality, like I might have lots of mirror neurons and empathy, which allows that to happen here. Like I just used to get into their energy behind their words and like use it as a meditation. I'd be beaming. Not all the time, but yeah. Did you stay in I am, not next to teachers? I used to purposely stay in I am as well when I was at home, particularly if my boyfriend pissed me off or the dog shat on the carpet. I'd then be like, I am, I am, I am, I am, I am, I am, I am. Hi Lisa, can you please talk more about the absolute and the I am? How does what is know itself? Because the I am and consciousness are the same thing, actually. They're not separate. Some teachers, mostly male teachers, teach you that consciousness is prior to the I am, but I think it's a sexist perspective, because consciousness is also known as the masculine and the I am as the feminine. So consciousness is Shiva and the I am is Kali dancing on Shiva's lap, you know. It's not actually true. The I am is everything and the consciousness is nothing, wisdom, and they go together, like the yin and yang sign. The I am is the love and the consciousness is the emptiness, the wisdom, the witness. That is who you are, is those two things. And they're nothing and everything. They're emptiness and fullness simultaneously. In fact, when you really, really collapse back into who you truly are, it even goes beyond any concept of consciousness in the I am. It is just, life is simply experiencing itself, and consciousness and I am are totally irrelevant. It's life, it's all things that are experiencing itself. I am is all things, it's love, and the consciousness is all things, because where is consciousness? You think you're conscious of me, but this isn't true. Consciousness is the appearance of all things. It's only a thought that says, I'm consciously looking at things. Actually, things are appearing and they are conscious. That is where consciousness is, in the appearance of things. So at the end of the day, the I am and the consciousness become redundant, and all you can say is all there is what is. Life is experiencing itself, and life is empty and full simultaneously. It's experienced by nothing, but yet it is everything. There is no boundary between that nothing and that everything. Everything is experiencing itself as nothing. Pretty deep shit. Is it true that what is perceived cannot be the perceiver? What do people mean by resting in being? It seems like no matter how quiet I get, I'm still perceiving something, even if it's really subtle. Thank you, blows my mind. Yeah. You are perceiving something, but something is perceiving that person that feels like it's perceiving something. And that something that's perceiving the person that feels like it's perceiving something is absolutely still. Can't claim anything. It can't say, I'm perceiving the character. It just is perceiving the character. It just is perceiving everything. It just is. And there is that I am, that love in that. This is. It's so still. And in that appears somebody that says, but I'm perceiving something, I'm perceiving something. But who experiences that person that says, I'm perceiving something? Who you are doesn't think, the person thinks. Who you are doesn't feel, the person feels. And yet it feels everything because it is what's experiencing. No eye, ear, nose, mouth, taste, touch, but yet it's all of that. It's love. It's love. It's beautiful. Joe. Hi, Joe. What if I lost the ability to love and I have no more will to love anything? Joe, I get the impression that you might be someone that I've spoken to before, and you've changed your name and just added me as a new friend. I have a suspicion who you are as well. I can only do it when Khaleesi's not here. That's how I tell her off. When you snort in, that's very serious to a dog. So you see, there's different growls in the dog world. You got your... When you snort in, very serious. So if I go to... That's a quick no. If I go... That means I am freaking serious, girlfriend. Do not do that. But I can't. She's very sensitive. She might even be hearing me outside now and be like, oh God. So if you know you're ever about to fight with a dog, that's the really important part. You know, really saying this is business, dog. Although I wouldn't advise fighting with a dog. So what if you lost your love and you no more had will to love anything? This is some abstract, bizarre story that you're telling me that screams victimhood. Joe blogs. I love you very much, even though I don't know you and I see God in you. But you've got to see through that story. That story is your cage. You are love. You are love. You are love. You don't feel love. You don't generate love. You are love. Right here, right now. And then the personality structure has all these memories and all these ideas, and it wants to go into suffering, or it wants to identify with this or that, and it's not true. Right here is love. This, 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 this. Thank you. It's beautiful hearing this. Because of the spiritual conditioning when awakening happened, I thought that all the personal suffering was gone forever. It was such a relief in that moment. But then after many hours, the old energetic patterns started to rise again. A horrible experience, but now I can notice a gradual relaxation to these patterns. Yeah, you're lucky that you're young as well, that happened when you were young, because your patterns won't be so developed. Sorry if I'm sounding ageist. I can see that you're young. I mean, he's a lot younger than me. I'm not talking from... I'm middle-aged. He's very early 20s, I'd say. Okay, well, I'm off now to eat a cow that's made from soya beans. I love veggie sausages. These tofu veggie sausages. But I'm not having them for dinner. I will have, oh, I've got so many tasty things I could have. Okay, my loves, I love you very much. Thank you so much for listening. And I tend to poke fun at a lot of things, and nothing's personal. I don't mean anything against you if I'm making fun. It's just that it can be a very heavy subject, and I feel like I love making fun, and I feel like it helps with the subject because it can be very heavy, very heady as well. So a bit of the Macarena helps. And I love you very much, and I deeply respect your search for freedom and truth. It's beautiful. I see God in you. If you've watched often, you know that I'm not so keen on the word namaste. I like it when you say it in English. I see God in you. Lots of love. Bye.